Artful Songwriting Video 2. In my last video, I shared the story of a co-write gone wrong, and it suggested to me this video, which is going to be about don't lose the heartbeat. So there's a lot of ways to approach what a song is, what's in the DNA of it. And I find that most people I talk to, there isn't really respect, in my opinion, for what the music of a song, what the lyric of a song, what it carries, the energy that it carries. To me, the music and lyric needs to work together well. It needs to, for a powerful song, an artful song. So when you're working with an instrumental, whether you've created it or whether someone else has created it, it's important to get in touch with the heartbeat of that music. Talking to whoever created it about what they were feeling when they made it, about what they feel when they listen to it, if they can't even remember what they were feeling when they made it. Or for yourself, whether you made the instrumental. Even if, say, it's just a verse part or a chorus part, like a little sound bite of an instrumental. Get in touch with yourself about where that comes from. So back to the co-write that went wrong. Basically, I had a little thing going about how glitzy Nashville was and about like don't lose your soul. And then my co-writer was like, could it be about finding love? And I was like, well, we've already got a vibe going. So what I didn't explain is kind of the most important part of the story, totally forgot, is that we tried the finding love thing over the music with kind of the melody that I had going. Then we tried to totally rewrite that with that idea, this finding love idea. And it just lost the heartbeat. Neither of us had what it took to make that song important to us. So I forgot to mention that, that's actually very important. Because sometimes when you're co-writing, you aren't actually in the heartbeat of what the song is about, and it needs to readjust. So when somebody has an idea that's like different than what you're going for, it can be really helpful. But when it's already working, when there's already that heartbeat in the music, in the lyric, and it's working together, you cannot, in my opinion, change directions about what that song is about, because then you lose the heartbeat. And to me, that is just devastating. To me, a song cannot recover from that. Even if you manage to leverage your knowledge of pop techniques, of hit techniques, to the point where it becomes a saleable song, it has lost the heartbeat of what that song is about. In my opinion, that is not worthwhile. That's something to be avoided at all costs, because writing from something that's important to you is what you have to give to the world. If you're giving something to the world that's already been done, that's just kind of a copy of what somebody else did that worked, it might even sell, but it won't be true to what you have to give to the world. And that, to me, is what writing a song should be about. That's what being a songwriter should be about. So this idea of holding onto the heartbeat, don't lose the heartbeat, it can put a little extra work into it, but I find it's usually the opposite. When you get in tune, in touch with the heartbeat of the song, the ideas flow, the creativity flows. When you try and write a song about a topic, generally it's the most work you're going to have to do as far as content, because you're going to have to not only create all the content without a wellspring of reason why you're doing it, right? You're just like, oh, this topic, you might not feel anything about it, so you have to then work that all up in yourself. And then also, you don't really know how to create even like the vibe. You don't know how to get in touch with the heartbeat of a song that didn't come from a heartbeat. So for me, it's very important to stay in tune with this heartbeat, and I find it actually creates a a fertile ground for inspiration. The ideas flow. So one of the first questions I ask when working with somebody who has a musical idea, whether they have lyrics already for it or not, is where does this come from? And if they don't know, then what do you feel when you listen to it? And this is another thing that that you should be doing, and that I think every songwriter should be doing, is listening to what you've created, even if it's just a musical part, so that you can kind of think outside of it. Because sometimes when you're in the middle of playing it, if you're not a great guitar player like myself, then it can be distracting to be focusing so much on the music. You can't think quite as much about what it is musically, about what it makes you feel. So for me, it's important to listen back a little bit to what I'm making and make sure that that heartbeat is still there, that I feel something from it as I listen back. And then it can also get you on track even more of what it's about, which you'll be rediscovering as you go. This is not something that you know exactly what it's about every single time. Sometimes you have to discover into the song. And that's exciting. That to me is a really fun part of the process, is you have something that you can feel means something, there's a feeling in it, but you don't know exactly what it is yet. You don't know exactly what it's about. You have to kind of discover into it. So here's where the free writing techniques can be really helpful. So, but you have to start with the heartbeat. So start with something. Start with something that makes you feel something. Like get in tune with what you're feeling, now, and find out if that matches up with it, or kind of just like listen to the music, get in the vibe, really feel into what does this make me feel, and then start writing, get it on the page. Now most of this will be a different video, but just touching on, this is part of my process for discovering into a song, is then when you get a sense for what you feel from the instrumental or what you are feeling right now, and that works with the instrumental, then you go to your free write. And now you just word vomit anything you can think of. Bad, embarrassing lines, just raw feeling, just throw it out there, get it out there, get it over with. Because you can't edit, you can't make something better when there's nothing. So you have to, in a way, you have to query the marble in order to chisel it out into the statue. So for me, querying is this word vomit. And you just write. Now you go back over what you've written. When it's a certain amount of content, when you feel like, okay, now I need to go back over it. You look for anything that sounds true or sounds artistic, sounds like something that's close to like maybe a line, because there will be generally a few within there, and that might give you a clue of how to write it, of like what metaphor to go with, of what that something that's just in tune with the heartbeat and you can feel it. So take everything else that you just can't feel, that you're just like, yeah, that's really not it, erase it. And whatever it is, 2, 3 lines, statements, passages that you've kept from your free write, now go from those and free write again. And now you're gonna have closer content to that heartbeat. And then chiseling that further, we're gonna talk about that in a different video. We're gonna go into exactly how, like my process is at least, for crafting into lines that you wanna keep till every line. I think there are so many songs in the world, it doesn't take that much longer to make sure every line in your song is something that you like, that you can feel. The songs aren't that long, there's not that many lines. This is a possible thing, and you don't get lost in the swamp, you just feel that much more life within the song. So for me, this is something worthwhile doing, and we're gonna talk in more detail about how to get the exact precise lyrics that you want, really crystallizing that. But as far as the heartbeat, that's a little bit of my process for staying in tune with that. And I think you can feel it as a writer, whether you're in tune with what the music is about or not. And when you get off track, it's worth going back. It's worth figuring out, where did we lose it? Where did we lose what this song is actually about, what this song actually means? Because when you stay, the closer you stay to that heartbeat, the more likely it is to resonate with your listeners.